This is Tim Colby with the Bootsy Collins Foundation. Twinkle, twinkle, baby baba.
You know him, you love him. It's Tim Colby and the Bootsy Collins Foundation. We got him here on the Elegant Home Podcast this week.
This is the Elegant Homes Podcast with your home improvement expert, Don Riley. Don gives you weekly tips on the biggest investment you'll ever make, your home. Plus, Don talks to industry's leading professionals to make your home elegant. The Elegant Homes Podcast with Don Riley is powered by Marshall Chevrolet in Carrollton, Kentucky.
Welcome back to another episode of Elegant Homes. I'm your host, Don Riley, where we make every home elegant, one home at a time. It is a beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning, and I'm telling you, the home improvement business, it just keeps getting phenomenal. We are just busy. We are taking on so many projects. We're doing so much cool stuff right now. I'm honored to be in this business. God has given us a platform where we can help other people and do things to honor Him. And I'll tell you, in this thing we call life, in this business, you meet some really, really cool people, and you come across some scenarios that you just know that things happen for a reason. And so, here at the Elegant Home Podcast, we're talking about spaces today. And, over 22 years of being in this business, I've created some really cool spaces. Let's face it, from room additions from doctors to lawyers, tearing off the back of their house and building additions. So, not only have we had to learn how to put their homes back together, but also we've had to learn how to maybe change the sound with decibel levels inside with windows and low E and argon gas. So, so all these things are so cool because, maybe somebody wants the room to be quiet because their babies are sleeping upstairs. So we got to make sure we use more R19 in the walls. We got to insulate better. But today is a very cool day here at the Elegant Home Podcast because we are actually going to be working on our studio here soon and getting our sound together. Of course, Tony Bender does an unbelievable job with our podcast, and Chris, our camera guy. And we got a very talented team. But I'm telling you, our sound has been a little off in our room here at the Elegant Home Podcast office where we do all of our business here. But we are getting together. So I have called the best of the best to come in and help us with this sound. And I tell you what, I met this guy and I just fell in love with him. He's a great guy. He's got a big heart. He's a generous guy. And he loves helping people. Also, he's a veteran, which is really cool, and we'll talk a little bit about that with him. And I am honored today to have my new great friend, Tim Colby, with Bootsy Collins. He's been playing with Bootsy for over 40 years. And I want to welcome my good friend, Tim Colby, to the Elegant Home Podcast. Tim, welcome. We're honored to have you here, buddy.
Yay! Thanks, Don. I feel like I owe you like $20 or something. Wow, that was a great lead in, and thank you for that. Nice words.
You have. I tell you, you've made me a better man by watching you. I've watched you on social media, feeding the homeless and doing some cool things that you do with Bootsy and his foundation. And I tell you, man, you are the real deal. And I'm honored to be your friend, first of all, and I'm honored that you came and take your time out of your busy day to come here and talk to us today. So I'm cool, man. And we want to know, tell us a little bit, tell us about your career. I know you started with Bootsy over 40 years ago. Tell the listeners, how this whole thing came about with Bootsy and where you're at today, man. Let's gear this thing up.
So I get out of the Air Force, and I go to this gym on the east side of town. This is when I met Bootsy. I'll make this quick. Bootsy was the only black guy on the east side of town at that point in time. And I'm working out, and this guy was just cool. I'm interested in people that are weird, strange, right? Funky, right? Yeah. And he was really tall, had long jerry curls, and he had a gold tooth with a star in it. I was drawn to him like steel to a magnet, right? And I met him, but he told me his name was William. And then through another friend, Vince Calloway at Midnight Star, who again I met through the gym. Vince was telling me that I knew one of his friends. It turned out to be Bootsy. When he said, "Hey, that's Bootsy Collins," I said, "No, it's William Eugene."
Wow.
And he started laughing. He said, "No, that's Bootsy Collins." I remember this vividly. I said, "What's a Bootsy?" What's a Bootsy? And I did not know what a Bootsy was. And so he told me who he was. I went to Peaches Records. This is before, we still got landlines, right?
Yes.
And I went to Peaches Records, and I went through James Brown stuff, Confunction, Parliament Funkadelic, Bootsy's Rubber Band. And, of course, he's played with all that stuff. And he started in the business at 16 years old with King Records, with James Brown.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I haven't been actually playing with him that long, but I've been with him and the family. And, of course, Peppermint Patty, his wife. I introduced Peppermint Patty, former Bengal cheerleader, and now basically runs the business for us.
Unbelievable.
To Bootsy, and Bootsy to Patty. And, by the way, she did not know who Bootsy was. She knew his music, but never knew who Bootsy was because I introduced him as William.
Wow. That's amazing. So, and we fast forward to today. I mean, and you're a big instrument in the foundation, the Bootsy Collin Foundation.
Correct,
you guys do a lot for the community.
We do.
Tell us a little bit, before we get into talking about, you soundproofing my room for me, this cool home improvement stuff. I just want the audience to know a little bit about Tim Colby.
Okay.
But tell us about your foundation. Also, I want just a brief summary of your Air Force career, because I know you did some cool stuff in the Air Force too. So tell us, give us a few minutes about that too.
You want me to talk about the Air Force?
Yeah, let's talk about the Air Force first.
So I go in at 18. Uncle Sugar made me a train killer at 19. I didn't shave until I was 33 years old every day. So you can imagine the first day that I was in boot camp, the drill instructor's yelling at me to shave. And I'm like, I don't even know how to shave, right? So, but yeah, I spent 6 years in the Air Force. Great experience. Glad I did it. I came back with all my arms and legs. I was part of an air-based ground defense unit. I brought in a cruise missile through Greenham Common. I've traveled the world, Turkey, Greece, Spain, Germany, Italy. And my last duty station was Langley Air Force Base, Virginia Beach.
Wow.
And you talk about the best in the world. Oh, my gosh. Yes, it was great. Fantastic. Of course, NASA was right down the street. And then the CIA is right in Langley Air Force's backyard. We had F-15s. And so we got to do a lot. I got to do a lot of desert stuff. And early 85, 84, I was getting desert camis. We didn't even know what they were then, because we were just then getting into the woodland camis. But I wore a beret and earned my beret, and had a great Air Force career.
Wow. We help a lot of veterans with our back home patriots, and for me and the staff here at Elegant Home Podcast, we want to thank you for your service. I mean, that's first and foremost, because that means a lot to us. We love helping the veterans and supporting the veterans. So, and we're going to be doing some exciting things together. So I'm looking forward to the future. But before we take a short break, let's talk about the Bootsy Collin Foundation. I mean, I watch you guys on Instagram and Facebook. You guys do some really cool stuff. I mean, and tell us about how that started and Bootsy's vision, and you're a part of that, and Patty's. Tell us about that.
Well, I'm so fortunate to. Especially after my Air Force career and some things that I went through, I can remember my therapist telling me, "What do you want to do? You're going to have a clean slate. What do you want to do?" And I said, without a hesitation, I want to help other veterans, especially the homeless and the needy and the hungry, and other people like my former self. And she said, "What else do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to be able to have an opportunity to play music professionally for the second time, because the first time I blew it because of my PTSD, the anxiety, the depression, agoraphobia. I call that my psycho cycle. But I got diagnosed late in life, and here I am now. God has blessed me with both of those, answered both of those prayers. And so I have I work through the foundation. We got the Kyle Willis, which is we help especially children and adults with oral care.
Wow.
Because Kyle went to the hospital with an impacted, or with a tooth with an infection. They sent him home. He went back to the hospital a few hours later. The pain was very intense. They gave him a subscription for the pain and also the antibiotics for the infection itself, but he didn't have the money for the infection, which is more important. So he went and got the pain pills, but 2 hours later he was dead because the infection went to his brain. So that's one of our 3 things we work with. We work with veterans. Every kid deserves an instrument, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we work with that. We get instruments for kids, and we just work with kids in general, the homeless, and a lot of veteran stuff. We're doing some cool veteran stuff this year. Matter of fact,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's all you guys. I mean, I've seen you go down, you take food right to them. I mean,
absolutely.
You feed them right there. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen you with all these people lined up,
Right.
and you're feeding. That is just cool. It's got to give you just this warm feeling. I mean, because me and you have had some really deep conversations, and and with the PTSD, people don't realize that's a disease, and it kills people every day. We lose 22 soldiers a day in this country from PTSD.
Absolutely.
And so it's a serious thing. A lot of people don't take it serious, but it is. I take it serious because I've been around soldiers who've had it. And I just think it's great that you guys are out there doing this for these guys, because that's what life's about, is giving to others. And so we are going to take a short break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to Tim some more. We're going to talk about soundproofing and getting our decibel levels right in this studio. And then we're going to bring a special guest in, one of Tim's guys, Pablo, who's been playing with Tim for years. And these guys are great friends. And we're just going to have some fun. So we'll be right back. I'm Don Riley. This is the Elegant Home Podcast, and we'll be right back. We're honored to have our grand sponsor, Marshall Chevrolet in Carrollton, Kentucky. They have been so supportive of the Elegant Home Podcast, and we're honored. I was just out there last week, and we just bought a new 2022 Chevy truck from them. I'm telling you, this thing is beautiful, and we bought it from one of our other salespeople, and I tell you, they are so awesome. This is the second truck we bought from them, and she absolutely loves it. So I'm telling you, stop out and see the gang there. They're always courteous, and they're always honest, and they'll give you a great deal. And make sure you tell them Don Riley from the Elegant Home Podcast sent you and your family.
The Marshall Auto Group has grown into one of the largest dealer groups in the state of Kentucky, and we're right in your backyard. With locations in Dry Ridge, Crittenden, and Florence, we're convenient and easy to get to. Plus, we have hundreds of new and used vehicles priced to make it worth your drive. We're a family-run business, making us easy to deal with. Come see us. Marshall Dry Ridge Toyota, Marshall Chrysler Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Marshall Motors of Florence, and Marshall Power Sports. The Marshall Auto Group, easy to get to, easy to deal with.
Welcome back to Elegant Homes. I'm your host, Don Riley. We took a short break there. We have got one of the coolest dudes I've met in a long time, Tim Colby, with us today here in the studio. And we're talking about insulation and sound, which is so important, especially in the music business, which Tim's in. But even in the home improvement business, we talk about how important sound is, right? Because, different strokes for different folks when it comes to home improvement projects, and you're building additions, and, there might be certain areas of the house you want quieter. I just built a room addition for a guy not too long ago, and in the basement, we actually did an office downstairs for him, and he wanted to soundproof it so that way his kid or child who was sleeping upstairs couldn't hear him on the phone. So we put batten insulation actually in the ceiling, and then we put R19 also on the inside of there. So, I mean, that between the batten and the R19, you could not hear that phone conversation from upstairs. And we tested it. We even had his phone ringing as loud as we could. And so it kept his son sleeping, and he's an infant. He didn't have to worry about that. So sound is so important. So back to our guest, Tim Colby. Tim, you're going to help us here at the studio with this sound. And I tell you, if you listen to these walls and they echo a little bit, so you're going to come in and tell us what you're going to do. I know, because you're going to come in and we're going to egg crate this thing, and I'm telling you, we're going to get our sound. And that's your field house. I'm gonna let you talk about that. So tell us how we do this, And I know you're going to bring some guys in, and you guys are going to get this done and help us out here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I have no clue what you're talking about. Hey, no, seriously, that's and I'm trying to be funny. I hope that was. It truly is. We were talking before. If you work second shift, third shift, and you have kids at home, something easy to do. Solid core doors, not hollow core doors. Solid core doors.
Good point.
That brings the sound down. We were talking about the egg crate stuff, the sound diffuser. What it is basically it's foam rubber, right? Comes in 2 inches. And now in this particular room, because what we measure it 18 by 12, I think,
yes.
somewhere in the and this is just drywall walls and a drywall stomp ceiling. We talked about insulation, R19 in the walls, and the same thing if you have a drop ceiling, especially the tile will absorb the sound. It won't bounce off, but it will be bouncing off of, if you're downstairs, the concrete. If you have drywall walls, it'll bounce off of that. And if you've got a media room, you want that to kind of be quiet. We talked about, if you have children and your bedroom happens to be above the media room. Well, it's kind of not fun for the kids because now you can't watch the media stuff because of the subwoofers. And let's face it, the speakers that are going on nowadays are just tremendous. You use 2-inch foam, call it a sound diffuser. You insulation through the ceiling, and obviously what you just talked about before. Your R19 in the walls and solid core doors.
Yeah. And these media rooms today are just, they're becoming big in homes. People want that sound.
Sure.
And you being in the music business. You know about sound, and it's so important. When you and Bootsy and your guys are, recording, I'm sure the Ark has got some of the best sound you can get because I'm sure you guys have spent the time to tweak everything out. So,
and that's a good point. We actually, you can get a meter and bring it in, and you can tell where the sound's coming from. You can tell where it's bouncing off of. And that changes too, even with, let's say we're out on the road performing a concert, or let's say we're in an indoor venue. Your sound's going to change when you've got more people in the room also.
Wow.
Bogarts is a perfect example. We've got very good quality, but when it's at capacity, those people absorb that sound, so it's not bouncing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we got another special guest with us today, too.
Yeah.
Tim has brought his good friend, Mr. Pablo, who is a musician expertise, I would call him. He's over there just jamming on the guitar. We heard him earlier. And these guys have been playing together for a long time and good friends. And once again, we're honored to have Pablo here. Pablo... he's going to play. I guess these guys are going to do some harmonies together.
You want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool for our audience to hear what you guys can do, man.
I'm going to play a little bit of the harp.
Okay.
But I want to tell you, I've only been playing this for about 2 weeks. My mom says I'm really good at it. Okay. And she lets me play as loud as I want to. So there you go.
All right. Well, let's see what you guys got. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tim Colby and Pablo.
Together in the park, Tim was looking so sharp. He was my twin, and I broke the race. I never knew I'd see him again. Blame it on that simple twist of fate. to a hotel bar where the neon lights burn. I said, hey, Bubba, can we go in? She said, no, stay. Don't you cry for me again. Blame it on a simple twist of fate. Mr. Colby. I told you it's a sin to know too much, to feel from within. All I know she wouldn't believe. I broke the reins, but I said it's okay. I still love you. Blame it on that twist of fate. At elegant homes we love to see all the great spaces that sound could be, or where could be not, with the right insulation or something like that. Don't you worry about a thing, because they make the best the world has ever seen. And they help all us veterans like you and me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pablo and Tim Colby.
Hey, thanks a lot, everybody. That's very nice. Yeah. Tim Colby is the best over here on the harbor.
Well, this has been another exciting week of Elegant Homes. We'll see you next time. I'm Don Riley, and where we make every home elegant, one home at a time. And we are going to go right back to Mr. Tim Colby for a second.
This is my best imitation. Twinkle, twinkle, baby baba.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tim Colby. We'd like to thank these guys again. So listen to us next week, Elegant Home Podcast, where we make every home elegant, one home at a time. It was great having these guys here. We'll see you next time. I'm Don Riley, your host. Till then.